We're doing this live. We don't even care. Like, this is Canada Day, and here we go.
This is gonna sound like I'm talking out of my ass.
Then please try to enunciate.
No, it's a figure. Never mind.
Hey, hello. It's Canada Day 2024, and we have watched the Orville season 1, episode 5, titled Pria from 2017. So wrap your head around that. And we're here to do a whole episode review all about it. I'm Dave Mader. I'm not Jody Simpson, who is the regular host of this show. But, I've been known to host a podcast or two. And I'm here with Kevin Millard.
Hi,
Hey,
Dave.
Kevin. Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
I see we have a full crew here today for Canada Day.
It's like there was yesterday I said, "Hey guys, are we still doing this? Are we still going?" They're like, everyone's like, "Yeah, of course." Like, "Yeah, we're yep." I was like, "All right, great." And then Kevin and I get here, and like, I don't know, a lot of people had forgotten, it seemed like. And I was just like, "Okay." Well, I said so Jody said, "Hey, can you guys start up without me?" And I said, "Sure. Here, we'll get started here, and we can fill the air a little bit here, Kevin." And
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Dave.
we got the live stream here. We're live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We got Sam Higdon coming all the way from Newfoundland.
Hi,
That's
Sam.
part of this country.
It is.
We got Norman coming. He's not from Canada, but he's in the same continent with us, and
Are you going to be okay, Dave?
I don't know, Kevin. This is Canada Day, and all bets are off. We are celebrating our confederation of our responsible government from Great Britain and the beginnings of our autonomy. So that's really, it's not as glorious as the American Independence Day, where it's like, hey, we declared independence. We did the Declaration of Independence. We told England to stick it, and then there's a war. Canada's more like Canada's story is a little.
We asked nicely. We asked if we could go.
And they're like, yeah, slowly but surely we got our independence. That's how we do it. Politely over several generations of pleading. That's how it goes. Okay, but you know what? We're saved here, Kevin, because Jody Simpson is with us, and our commander is back. The timeline has been saved.
Dave, that was a masterclass in delay. I am really impressed.
I can't wait to look back at the playback because I missed it, unfortunately.
I was telling everyone, Jody, about how great you are and this podcast, and how we're going to talk about the Orville tonight, the episode Pria.
We are. All right. Well, okay. Well, I guess I'll do my intro now then.
You're up.
Did you already play the video and all that?
Yeah, we did all that.
We're good and ready. Oh, it was obviously in great hands with Dave. Anyway, guys, welcome back to the Orville Review Show, the podcast where we navigate through the stars and stories of the Orville universe. Today, we're setting course on season 1, episode 5, named Pria. In this thrilling episode, the crew rescues a stranded ship captain, Pria Levesque, I think, or something like that.
Levesque, you're correct.
Yeah, Levesque. Played by the stellar Charlize Theron. I love Charlize Theron, but anyway. But as they peel back the layers of their mysterious guest, they uncover a web of deceit that spans time, as Dave has already said. He's saved the timelines.
Or the timeline gets changed up here. So I'm excited to talk about this episode. This is a good episode.
It is a good episode, yeah, for sure. This episode, guys, it was written by Seth MacFarlane and directed by Jonathan Frakes of Star Trek fame.
Frakes directed this? I didn't even know that at all.
Himself. So there you go. So that's always good. Well, he does really good directorial stuff, I think, for the most part. I'm usually happy with most of his episodes. So Pria takes us on a journey that challenges the very fabric of reality, guys, with a twist that had left audience and critics alike in awe. All right. You got screens here for us, Dave? Because I bad boy this week.
I have here is the Orville, Jody.
That is definitely the Orville. Good job.
Yeah, there's a shot of the ship, you know, and I don't know, like the sign. There's a Seinfeld with the Junior Mints and stuff.
Oh yes, the Junior Mints episode where the Junior Mints fall into the operation thing there.
Yeah, they're explaining the practical joke and humor to Isaac, which becomes integral in this episode.
Yeah. Okay.
And like, I don't know, do we have to wait to get to it? Because this whole idea of like a practical joke in this episode between Gordon and Isaac is hilarious.
It is pretty good. Yeah.
Like the whole like, okay, like I know I'm jumping ahead, but the whole reveal to the like when he amputates the leg is like the most of it is like,
it's pretty intense. Yeah, you're not expecting that, especially when the joke was Mr. Potato Head things stuck to Isaac.
Right. The practical jokes is actually it's the best part of the episode. I find the rest of the episode actually pretty boring.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Do you find Charlize Theron a little bit boring in this performance?
Yes,
she is a bit,
which is so strange because she's so good in everything.
She's usually good and stuff. Yeah. Well, I think this was kind of a phone-in appearance more than anything.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like she's all there for it.
I think she was kind of there, but it was also like, hey, I'm your buddy. Can you come do this? Because her and MacFarlane have done a lot of things together. So that's not uncommon.
She cons them. She's a big con artist.
She's really just a con artist. Yeah.
There was a comparison to Vash in the chat here from Norman.
That's a good comparison, actually.
Yeah.
She's kind of an opportunist, but Vash never pretended to be like, I think Vash is not as evil as this.
Pria ends up being more evil. Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
I think we have to give you a guest host credit for this episode, Dave.
Okay.
You're doing
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't prepared for that. Okay. I'm tired. Okay. I'm going to say this. When they go to save Charlize Theron on the shuttle, like this whole open the jar of pickles thing.
It's getting boring now. Yeah.
It's boring. It's not that funny. Was it ever funny? I don't know.
No.
It looked a little fake here.
It would be funnier. It would be much funnier.
Fake. It looked a lot fake there.
It would be much funnier if he said something different every time.
Yeah,
rather than every time.
Open my jar of
another
jar of jam or something, or
so many jars of pickles. Sometimes jam. Maybe you open this jar of jam for me. Like it's a tough jar.
Yeah, or something like that, or like
we're writing a funnier line than they give it on the show. That's all. Okay.
To be honest, though, I think out of all the characters on the show, I think Alara is probably the one I'm not that interested in. Like it just like her character traits get old after a couple episodes, in my opinion. Like we don't learn anything new past this really with her, other than when she leaves, I guess. But
right. The whole action of them having to fly over there and get out of the gravity well of the sun and everything. But I guess this was always going to go Charlize Theron's way, so there was in retrospect, none of this is all.
There was actually no danger. Yeah,
this is actually even less exciting than it was the first time around because we know it's kind of a setup, right?
Yeah.
So there's that aspect to this as a rewatch. Charlize Theron gets through the medical checks, and obviously Ed Mercer super into Charlize
very
Theron.
Smitten with her, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think even Gordon says a line like that woman is way too attractive for us to let die. We have to go save her right now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, but Mr. Potato Head of it all,
to the piece of resistance.
This is hilarious. Like there's like because they're
This
finding
is
a way to-
not something you would expect in a normal sci-fi series. Is something like this.
no, but it still feels like this could happen. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, it doesn't feel far fetched either.
Well, and
So-
that's kind of one of the things I kind of like about it, because it's not this show is not as diplomatic as a lot of Star Trek is, right? Like Star Trek, like this kind of thing wouldn't fly. Like it's just not something you would see.
with the exception of like maybe Lower Decks and you know,
Lower
Star
Decks,
Trek,
absolutely.
Star Trek normally takes itself pretty seriously.
Yeah,
but
fairly serious. Like there is humor, but it's not to this point.
yeah,
It would never
Most
be
of-
like silly like this. There's no way in Star Trek.
not to the point of
Not
a
in-
Mr. Potato Head gag.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So Sam says he likes the use of real life characters in the show. I agree with that.
real life characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like references to real life.
Did you like them watching
Kermit the
Seinfeld,
Frog
Jody?
and-
I absolutely hate Seinfeld. But
All right, that's why I brought
I
it up.
understand why they brought it up, which is I know
As
that's
do
why they
I,
brought it up.
but
Seinfeld is
it
You
exists.
both
I
hate
acknowledge it.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, I'm not a
it's-
fan.
It's terrible.
Oh, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. The Junior Mint episode is a classic.
Oh, I know of it. I've seen the episode, but
I've seen every episode. This
I
is why
don't
do
understand
not
the
like it.
praise that Seinfeld gets, but that's a whole other podcast.
If you've seen every episode, Kevin, you have to like it a little bit.
No, it was just on all
it
the
was on
time.
all the time.
All
Yeah.
the time on every station.
And I remember
everywhere,
when comedy,
all the
the
time.
Comedy Network was running at one point when the new episodes of South Park were on. There was an episode of Seinfeld before that, so I always tuned in and just kind of waited for South Park. I guess
Seinfeld
they
is
were in
probably
reruns
my
for the most
favorite sitcom of the '90s,
That's good.
and maybe of all time. It's one of the best. But hey, teach their own. But
absolutely,
it's
I understand why people like it. I just don't like it.
Yeah. So okay, get the practical joke. What did you guys think about the whole scene in Ed's quarters with like they're having cocktails for the senior officers and they're all like in their civilian wear?
I like
It's
the
good.
fact
What-
that the
what does
civilian
Gordon
wear
say
wasn't
here?
in scene. Like,
Huh?
Gordon says something crazy here. I can't remember what it is.
Well, can we talk about his like slicked back hair and how uncomfortable we all are with it? Like, can we just acknowledge that?
Yeah,
Like, that's
I'm,
not right.
I'm
That's-
uncomfortable, Dave.
I agree with you. Like, I think
I'm
that
uncomfortable for sure.
you know, and okay, but Kelly
back
looked
one for a
amazing.
second. Go back. Oh yeah, Kelly does look amazing. Go back one, or well, I guess you can't technically go back one. Okay, actually, that works out really well. That's what I wanted. Okay, it was his forehead. I
Oh,
was
his
like,
forehead.
wait a second. There's a. I thought there was a Klingon there for a second, but it turns out it's just his forehead, so that's fine.
Okay, is that what you? Okay,
Yeah,
but
see the ripples there. Well, you just had it a second ago.
but I think Kelly looks better than Charlize Theron.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Way
They're
better.
both beautiful ladies, but
And
I
Kelly
think
is going
between
to
the two
beat
of
the
them,
hell
she
out of
looks great.
Charlize Theron on later on in the episode.
yeah, she will. Yeah.
And,
Wait, so
and
let's be
then-
honest. We're all happy that happened.
And then, like, can we like? Okay, we'll get to the end here, but the whole ethics of like she basically gets snuffed out of existence. But I think there's time paradoxes a blunder here. What were they eating in these cubes? Is my other question.
It almost looked like it was like somebody's like Jello mold with like cherries in it or something. I don't even know.
I mean, I'm being asked a question by Sam. Do you like Seinfeld over The Simpsons? And the answer would be yes.
I would say it depends on what season. When it comes to The Simpsons, anyway.
He's never watched Seinfeld. You should watch Seinfeld. It's one of the best Seinfeld. Like I already said it a few times, but I'll say it again.
It's
one of
got
the
some
best-
funny moments for sure, but I just don't think overall.
It's way better than Gilligan's Island. It's like
Oh,
You
it's
might-
100 million-
better.
Look, he might like it. I might just not like it because it, like I said, it was everywhere all the time. The jokes are tired to me, right?
maybe.
Oh yeah,
There's
like
no
how many
rewatchability
times in
for
your
me.
life have you heard people do an impression of the soup Nazi? Like, come on.
Right.
Like, it
No
just-
soup for you. That's a famous
Yes.
one.
yes, it is.
like-
yeah.
Yes, we're well aware of it being famous, Dave. That's kind of what
I'll
we're
field
talking
this
about.
question, Dave. Are you on drugs? The answer is
Yes.
mostly of the time, yes.
Only on a holiday.
Maybe not today, but well, probably today for sure.
Today's a
but
Canada Day.
yes, he's celebrating Canada his unique way.
That's right.
This is my day to celebrate Canada, just like it's yours, Sam. Okay.
I ate ribs, so that's my way of celebrating Canada Day.
Okay. I feel back to the episode. Like, I think that Kevin's right. Like, this whole plot to like figure out who Charlize Theron is and like this whole time travel thing, I think takes too much time in the episode with Kelly being.
It felt like filler. Yeah,
I feel like they have to give all this time so that like Ed can get together with Charlize Theron and
I think
hook
it's
up with
to
her.
kind of develop his love for her, I guess, or his lust for her, or whatever way you want to say it.
Yeah, but Yaphet meets.
And I didn't really like the whole like Kelly making Kelly out like the jealous ex-wife,
Girlfriend,
right?
or
Right.
ex-wife, yeah.
And it's not just that; it's that at the end of the episode, like maybe she was right, but she was right by accident. She was still acting like a jealous ex-wife.
She didn't have a lot to go on here, you know?
No, right?
Right. Like her suspicion seems a little bit like her paranoia ended up being correct, but it could have easily not been that way.
Yeah.
So, do you think that the official reprimand that Ed put on Alara, or whatever, stuck? Do you think he kept that after all this?
No.
Probably. I think you would have to, wouldn't you?
No,
Well,
maybe.
She
have
still
to.
broke the rules. Like it's
She did.
still
Massively.
an illegal search and not seizure, but illegal search.
Illegal search. You're violating the civil rights of this guest.
But if you
who-
remember in the first episode was it, or the second episode, they kind of did the same idea, like the same kind of thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
delay them.
this
kind of thing.
criminal who is there with nefarious intent to bring them to another time period and sell them off and commit temporal violence against them, I say.
Sure.
Sure. Let's go with
Okay.
it.
But
That's
I
the
think
problem with the Alara character, though. Like, and don't get me wrong, I don't think the actress has anything to do with it. I just think the Alara character is very one-sided. Like, you always know how she's going to react in every situation. Like, there's never any surprises with her. I just think that's kind of I think it's a fault of that character.
She's always young and scared.
Yes.
And instead, and they did this with Hoshi at the beginning too in
Yes.
Enterprise, and it was
Yes.
really annoying.
That's actually a very good reference, actually. Yeah, because it really was the exact same thing. But I don't think Alara ever asked which way she wants to sit on the sit in her quarters to face.
no, we haven't had that particular episode, but she opens pickle jars mostly.
Yes, mostly.
So they get found out by Charlize Theron after they look under her mattress and find her little time travel device. If we can, I don't know if we can get. Yeah, they scanned it. They couldn't figure out what it was. So I guess Kevin's.
Well,
right,
it's
they
basically a brick, which I'm guessing is probably made by Apple. But
it cannot be scanned.
It can't be scanned
in any sense.
because they probably don't have the right port for it.
They're just selling them bricked already.
Yeah,
if you have a Black
just
and
cutting out the
Decker,
middleman.
the funny thing is that's a cell phone and it's only a year old.
Yeah, right.
it turns out that as long as you have a drill with a diamond bit on it, from back in the day, you can get through this thing.
Oh, for sure.
That's what ends up working here, like analog, old school technology. Gets this cocky
Can't use
time
lasers
travel.
on that thing.
This cocky time traveler, Charlize Theron, who's messing with them and trying to, but she actually does save their lives. So the show would have been canceled, Jody, if Charlize Theron hadn't come along here and saved the day.
Charlize Theron, Pria, I think, really saved the show more than anybody.
Yeah, I guess. Well, Charlize Theron's the actress behind Pria, but she's also a movie star, which is, I guess, why we keep, or at least I'm fixated on it. I don't know what Kevin.
What? Not really.
Okay, yeah, the whole jealous girlfriend thing.
But this is also where we get into Mercer, showing kind of his admiration for her and, not hearing it, love is blind kind of thing.
He's being he's blinded. It's clear in the storyline if you watch it,
But through this whole thing, is he really blinded? Like, there is no evidence ever.
Well, when you watch it the first time fresh, yeah, it does seem like Kelly's the paranoid one and she's out of line. But then I watching this time, I knew that what was going to happen. So I was just like, well, I guess, Kelly is right,
He's definitely not as smitten as like some people would be in some series, but he's still not really listening to much, right?
Right. But in Charlize Theron, she's from 400 years in the future. What's supposed to happen in her timeline is the Orville is destroyed in this black matter thing, storm nebula thing that I don't know. It didn't look that cool in the show. I thought it looked a little.
I would say this is definitely not the best of their CG work.
Yeah, I would
But it's
like to
fine,
me.
it passes.
Oh, it passes for sure. It's still better
It's-
than half of what you saw in Enterprise. So you got that, I guess.
Like I don't think the space stuff in Enterprise looked this bad.
Well, maybe not. Yeah.
Like not this anomaly stuff, and like a lot of it was them on the ship, and then Charlize Theron takes over as the pilot, and then like we get like some maneuvers around these big jelly things, which I guess are dangerous, right?
But going from a person that they picked up to a person that's allowed to fly the ship, that's quite a stretch.
Isn't
Like,
this a bit suspicious?
It is a bit suspicious, I think.
This is a bit suspicious. You are correct.
I think
Very sus, as the kids
yeah,
say.
and Kelly knows, and she's at this point she's actually starting to actively call it out.
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
They go to the holodeck or the environmental simulator. Ed and Charlize Theron do Pria on a planet here where apparently they'll dismember you for the raccoon god or something. Which I
Sounds
thought-
fun.
Yeah, so no one can go there, but
Some people call that Brampton, but anyway,
it's very
it's fun.
scenic here. The raccoon god. So, yeah, I don't know. Like he's like, I think we should take it slow. I'm just getting out of this relationship, and then boom, they've had sex.
That was pretty
Or,
slow.
or that works too. Yeah.
Or that.
I
works
want to
too.
know what Mercer's fast is. Like, is it like shoot a porno? Like,
How
what
much
is
time
it?
has gone by here? You think from the time we left the
Maybe 2 hours.
2 hours,
Yeah, I don't know.
Under
10
12
minutes.
minutes.
under 12
Under 12
minutes, just long enough to
Twice.
get back to the quarters. Let's go. Let's go. Run. Right. Their pillow talk. I don't know. We can probably skip some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's the reveal here with Gordon when he gets up.
Oh,
for-
this is incredible.
yeah, and this whole thing, and you don't know
I
where
just
it's
love
going.
how he falls right down though, because
He just
like,
falls down, and then the reveal.
he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's like my bloody leg.
Like that is hilarious. Like it
That's pretty
is,
good. Yeah.
and it's horrific. And then he's like, ha ha.
He's
you
like,
know?
"I got you." Ha ha.
Yeah. Ha, ha.
Right. And Gordon just.
Well, the
is
best
hot,
thing is
dude.
Gordon at the end. He's just kind of like, "That was really good." Like you did. A
Like
good
he admits
job
it
on that
later,
one.
but
Yeah.
but this is it's only funny because he's so outraged.
And everybody is like, "Are you?"
But everybody's
afraid?"
just kind of like, "What?"
But I think they still respect it. They're like, this was
Yes.
this was good. Like that
Everybody
was
respects it. They think
thinking
it's
outside,
funny.
especially
And
since they
that's-
could just grow you back a new
And
leg.
that's where the
you know?
comparison between Data and Isaac really goes to shit, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just a rebranded Data," and it's like, no, Data would not
No,
remove
would
it. Limb.
never.
Like
How mad
he would have
you
enough
be?
brains to realize that. Whereas Isaac's like, "I will remove a limb." It's funny.
How
Yeah.
mad would you be if they like cut off your leg and then you could grow?
If they didn't have the technology to bring it back, I would be
No, yeah,
very
but they
pissy.
do have the technology.
They do have the technology. I would still be pretty pissy about it though.
Yeah, I'd
it's
still-
just an inconvenience at least.
It's
Like he has
definitely
to
an
sit in that room for a
inconvenience.
while.
I would rather hold on to my original leg.
Well,
You
I think
know, all
most people
things
would.
being
Like
equal.
it's not unrealistic to think that people would be upset if a limb was lost. Like,
Yeah.
it's-
Well, I guess, but I
it
guess
is no joke. Let's put
they
it
can
that
just-
way.
they can just grow it back. Okay, and then if we want to get back to the episode, let's just talk about this whole this confrontation of Charlize Theron in this scene, which I think she's very bad in her performance. But
Yeah, this is definitely some weak.
like it's just
sauce.
kind of wooden and cold, and like I don't know, she's just drinking this drink the whole time.
Yeah, and this is a
Uh,
woman who can do some really good dramatic work, and
Yeah.
but this is definitely not her A game.
This is more like okay, but the reveal of the leg in the middle of the
That's
scene,
amazing though. They just
leg-
walk in, and it's like there's the leg, and it's
the
like
leg
what?
falls down, and it's hilarious in the scene. But yeah, when you're trying to also like balance it against like this more serious sci-fi story, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of like you're like, okay, yeah. If I'm just trying to like look at
You're
Charlize
dealing
Theron,
with time travel
the
and
Pria
paradoxes, and you got
storyline
this
here.
leg. Yeah.
in a vacuum. It's hard to get excited about it, really, a little bit, because she's a little bit wouldn't, I get, maybe that's how it's meant to be played. But anyway, the leg just falls here, and he's just like, never mind that. We're gonna move on, and they get through this more serious back and forth. But then they're like, do we
I
bring
love
the
how she
leg?
just slops it over her shoulder though. She's like walking with it.
Yeah, do we bring the leg? Yeah, of course we bring the leg.
Yeah, do we bring the leg? Like that's like who would think you would have to ask that question? Like,
Yeah, we can't leave it here. Anyway, so everything. Ed gives Pria the gears and says, not happy with you. There's a whole makeup here between Ed and
he's like, I'm sorry, I
Kelly.
didn't see it, basically.
Yeah, sorry I didn't answer you. I next time I'm always listening to my XO, but
Well, that
okay,
is kind of her fucking job, like you should be listening to her.
we get this whole thing here where they break into the Pria's technology thing, her brick iPhone, along with Isaac and the drill, which turns out to be effective. And then apparently it seems like Isaac dies here, but in this shock thing. But this will be one of the many times Isaac will seem to die and not.
Yes, there's many of them through the series.
He seems to be offline, and they're trying to figure out how to fix him. But and then there's this whole thing here with Gordon in the next bio bed for the sick bay. Say that I know I said you were a monster, but that was really funny.
This is the best practical joke I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. He's come around. The shock's worn
He's come
off.
around. This is just funny now.
Yeah, and he gets called
like,
to the
you
bridge.
nailed it.
Yeah,
I like how they have him though walking with crutches though, because like realistically, you can't just attach a leg and it's gonna work well.
Okay,
Well, it's not done yet. Too.
Plus, it's also not done. Yeah.
Like they made it so weird and creepy looking here.
It is
just
kind of
like
it's nerve wracking to see it.
they're like the makeup department, or they're just like, how weird it's like messed up can this be? And this is what
Well, it just like flops around too. It's really kind of disturbing.
And then it's like, get to the serious stuff here. Get to the but now everything's in peril. We're going to take you to another century and sell your ship to the highest bidder. And we see them go through the wormhole here, and they go to the future. And there's a bunch of like squid aliens here who
a la Matrix.
let's see if I can get a shot of them. Yeah, there they go.
They literally look like the things from the Matrix.
Because like when you're going through this time portal and they're gonna get to this new century, and you're like, well, what are they gonna see here? And like this is not.
And this isn't something that they played with much in this series so far. Like even like in the later series, the later seasons, like time travel isn't something that gets played with much in this show. Like
it's episode 6, and they're bringing it in here.
Well, they bring it in then, and then that's literally the last arc for it.
Until later with the whole stuff with Kelly.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, well, never mind.
This is a time travel happy show.
Point
and the episode with Gordon that's gonna come.
Oh yes, there. Oh yes, okay. Now okay.
Yeah. Anyway, they get away from these squid aliens in the Squid Game, and they go back through the wormhole. And
I was disappointed by the amount of squids that were in.
Charlize Theron gets her ass beat by Kelly, and Ed tells her off, and they let Gordon go back to get the rest of his foot cleaned up. Oh, and by the way, the Junior Mint thing came back. Seinfeld came back and mattered, guys, in a big bad way in this episode. Saved the day. Isaac's still alive. He's in the computer. So,
good.
Okay.
Are you talking about Seinfeld, or are you talking about the
I think he's talking about this one. Seinfeld doesn't need any more attention.
No more attention for Seinfeld.
No,
please.
Do we need a podcast about Seinfeld where we go back and watch?
Okay, you can do that. Kevin and I won't be there.
Yeah,
right?
I won't do that one.
No, I don't think I could get that people over that. Anyway, so the end here where Ed, basically says, well, we're going to destroy the wormhole and basically cause this time thing here, like where you never could even come back in time. But if she never came back in time in the first place, guys, then how could she save them from the Black Matter thing? This is a paradox. I'm calling BS.
It is a paradox, but it's no different than any other paradox in any other sci-fi show, really. So,
all right,
let's just
time travel always creates a paradox.
Yes,
doesn't have to.
Time travel is a paradox.
doesn't have to create a paradox. I don't
Name
think.
one instance where it didn't.
Back to the Future 2?
What are
No.
you talking about? That thing was full of paradoxes.
Well, there was it wasn't it wasn't Clara Ravine anymore. It became Eastwood Ravine, and some things got changed. But never mind. We should just get back to this episode. So
He's like, wait, there was paradoxes. Let's move on.
yeah,
And that was Back to
predestination,
the Future 3, by the way.
predestiny. Yeah. Anyway, so we see Charlize Theron gets zapped out of existence, and then Ed's sad, and that's the end of the episode, guys.
Well,
Um,
Wow,
she
that was-
tries to convince him by telling him he's just going to continue to be a sad man. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
that's her pitch. That's her pitch. That's her
That's
plea.
it.
Her
Guess
last
what?
plea.
You're going to be single for the rest of your bloody life.
I think that's done just to make her more villainous and more unsympathetic, that she's going to get sort of erased. But she'll not really die, because she'll just be she may exist back in her own century, or the timeline may be changed enough
The
that
point
she's
that
never
she's
born.
she was never existed. Yeah.
Because presumably, like a big thing, like 300 people who were going to die didn't die. That would change things a lot, I would presume.
Yeah, could.
300 people who never went on to like have other kids or do this or that, or what, save other people's
could,
lives.
yeah.
Right. Science with Dave. Well, this is the science of time travel here on the Orville. And
This is a new section for the show. It's now Science with Dave.
the science really breaks down to this. Like, if you have a Charlize Theron, you can pretty much take over a ship with a brick.
Wow, that was amazing
I gotta
scientific
change
analysis.
I gotta change the ticker. Give me a second here.
That's my analysis. I am an Edouard, according to Sam.
He's what?
I'm an Edouard. I think
An
it's a
Edouard?
compliment.
All right.
I am. You are an Edouard. On the end of the day. Did Adam forget that this podcast was going on, or did he just opt out?
Who knows?
Yeah, I think you probably forgot.
All right.
But
Do you want me to do fun facts for you or something?
sure, you can do fun facts.
All right.
But
give me
I
a
thought
minute.
we were still doing mildly intoxicated science talk with Dave.
Well, it can be sort of under the same umbrella,
Oh, okay.
really.
But I think probably Delta details discovered by Dave is probably better.
Okay. Every time they said her character's last name, Levesque,
Levesque.
I'm like, I prefer Levesque.
What does
Okay.
that matter?
It's more
Yeah.
French. It's more proper French.
Oh,
Just
okay.
saying.
All right.
I blame Jonathan Frakes for this. So
I didn't realize you were such a French purist.
I
Yes.
guess I have. I guess at heart.
Somebody was born in a French area, so
Okay. Well, did you guys know that this episode features one of the smallest casts of the entire show, with only the main cast and Stephen Newton, Yaphet, Pria, and the ship's computer?
well, what about the science engineer guy? Like the
It's still
engineer guy.
small.
Like,
Yeah, he's there. He's there too. But this is one of the
I guess
smallest
it's
casts
small.
of any Orville episode.
well, there is no real background people for the most part, right? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of a contained episode. Yeah.
The
Maybe this is-
beverages, the drinks, the cocktails drank by Mercer Levesque Grayson at the officer's cocktail hour were in fact really alcoholic, and the glasses were had whiskey in them. So they were
See,
actually
that is the proper way to do that.
yeah.
Get the right reaction. Yeah.
This is the second episode in a row to feature a major cast member from Seth MacFarlane's film A Million Ways to Die in the West. I guess that's how he got some of these people.
Well, we had Liam Nielsen yesterday, or last week.
Jonathan Frakes directed this episode, as well as a first season episode of Discovery, Despite Yourself, which aired within a couple months, making Frakes the first individual to direct episodes of both competing shows. He's the first one.
Is this really a competing show, though?
I guess they thought it was it. They think of it as a competitor.
Okay.
To simulate Gordon as the one-legged and hopping onto the bridge, Scott Grimes wore a large green sock over his amputated leg. Amputated in quotes.
Yeah, the clip is on YouTube. You can see it.
The sock was then green screened out during the digital processing. According to Peter Macon, who plays Bortus, that scene took 15 to 20 takes due to the cast laughing constantly.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's one thing I think would have made the episode better is more Bortus.
Yeah. Bortus could never laugh, but if he's laughing. Grimes spent a total of 12 hours hopping as an amputee on set, leaving him with permanent back pain. Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Pria says that she captured Amelia Earhart and brought her to the 29th century for the same reason that she sought the Orville, which also kind of reminds me of that episode of Voyager with Amelia Earhart.
Oh, yes.
Adrienne Palicki, who plays Kelly, and Charlize Theron declined to use stunt women for their fight on the bridge, preferring to duke it out themselves. So
girls.
They punched it out.
That's right. That's a good.
According to Palicki, all the male crew members stayed on the set to watch them fight.
Absolutely. I would have too. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. This episode was written to take place after the Krill episode, which we'll see next week, but the order was swapped due to the availability issues with Charlize Theron. And while filming this episode, Frakes brought actor Brent Spiner to the set, known for playing Data. That's all it says.
Too bad we couldn't get a cameo with him in it.
Yeah. During the scene where Gordon sticks the oversized Mr. Potato Head pieces to Isaac, pieces kept falling off. Jackson later recalled, everyone found that hilarious, and I wouldn't even notice, to be honest with you, because you can't even feel it when you lose something. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The lighting pattern of Priya's override device, the silver block she implemented is an engineering, is intentionally the same as the lighting on the M5 computer in Star Trek, the original series.
Really?
There you go.
Okay. That's a very obscure thing, but
yeah. And the scene where Gordon talks to Isaac lying dead on the up on the sick bay was actually filmed later after the episode was completed in order to add context and sentimentality between the two characters. So that was a reshoot.
It did.
Yeah. And those are the facts of this episode, Jody.
That's all the facts, Dave?
Well, there's more.
You have another fact?
Sure.
Okay.
After Pria teaches the crew how to map dark matter, the technology is later adapted by the Union within a year. Dark matter cartography becomes a new important position in the episode Jaloja. Did you know that the song that plays during Ed's cocktail hour is Penthouse Serenade by Errol Garner?
That I did not know.
Did you know that when the Orville discovers the Horizon trapped in a sundiver, the crew asks if extracting it by tractor beam is possible? In the background, Isaac's screen shows that the likelihood of success is 0.214%.
All right.
They have the attention to detail here, guys.
They do have some attention to detail for sure.
Ed chastises Kelly for playing Nancy Drew, who was a titular character of a number of mystery detective books. I don't know if you ever heard of Nancy Drew.
I have.
Or the Hardy Boys.
I've heard of them as well.
Well, they are. Sam, have you heard of the Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew? Let us know in the comments.
Just Sam, though. Nobody else. We don't want to hear from you.
Anybody else? For that matter.
Just Sam.
Just Sam. I just think he won't know them.
Sam probably doesn't know.
In order to meet the Orville for the first time, Pria strands herself on a sundiver in the Gatria system and sends a distress call. Gatria is a real-life star roughly 182 light years from Earth. And because the wormhole to the 29th century is a day's journey from Gatria, factoring the Orville's top speed at 10 light years per hour, which is also established in this episode, the wormhole is between 58 and 422 light years from Earth, depending on the direction the Orville travels.
Gotcha. All right.
That's
Dave,
some science.
That's some science with Dave as well. Got a little bit of
right.
both. All right. Well, shall we go to the ratings?
Let's. We're doing it. You can't
you
stop us.
I got it already. You got it.
I got it. I got it.
2 years. 2 years.
Sure. Okay. Well, Jody, what do you want to give this episode?
You know what? I'm kind of with Kevin on this. There was a lot of boring dialogue in this. It's still a good episode, but I don't think it ranks as high as all the ones we've already seen. So I'm gonna go with a 7. Like, it was still entertaining. There was some great stuff in it, but I think that's about all I can do with it.
I'll let Kevin go last. I don't think Kevin's gonna be super kind to this episode. So, and I don't know why that shouldn't affect my decision, but for some reason I think it will.
Shouldn't.
So
Each is our own, as they say.
So I'm gonna give this episode. I like it and I don't. I like like some of the like aspects of it a lot. So I'm gonna give it 7.5. I feel like I'm sort of not loving it
7.5.
for some reason.
I'll give this a 6. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Last week I'll give an 8.5.
An 8.5 to that was on Not About Dave Day, right? If the stars should
That
appear.
was not about Dave Day. Yeah.
Right.
Murphy gave About a Girl a 5. Is he out of his fucking mind?
I didn't get he what he didn't like about it, but
We didn't get into it because he just filled it in while he was on last week's episode.
Okay.
So we don't really totally know why he gave it a 5, but he
I'll have to put a
did
pin
bring
in-
our average down a bit because of that.
yeah. He's probably because there was a scene that was out of focus or something. Or,
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it could have been a
you
technical
know,
issue, really.
or yeah, like a boom mic showed up
Yeah,
somewhere.
He's very particular in his production value.
So
The man has high standards.
yeah, he does. Yeah. So we're averaging a 6.8 tonight without Adam or Murphy waiting on this episode. Of course, like Adam is saying, Sam is saying 8, Jim the Casual saying 8.5, Norman's saying 7.8. So we're all kind of close here within a point or two. You know, it's pretty good, but not the best.
This is definitely not the best episode of what we've seen so far, right? So like this is
For me,
a
it's the
draggy
worst
episode.
so far.
Well, it is for me as well right now.
Yeah.
Like if you can consider a 7 the worst, but
I
I'm
feel
sure
like
there'll be another episode that won't be.
I feel like I like after watching, you know, I'm not sad I watched it, but I'm also like this could have been so much better. There's so much more potential in this episode.
It almost feels like this was a phoned in performance by Charlize Theron, for sure, which we know she's capable of so much more, but you never know. Like it might have been a fatigue thing for her. Who knows? But it sounds like she was busy, and I think this is probably
Maybe it
when
was the director.
It could have been the director even.
Or
John,
just
that's
not a
awesome.
properly fleshed out character. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Or maybe some of the things that could have helped it better might have ended up on the editing room floor. Who knows? Like we don't know, right? So we can only get by what we've been presented, and what we presented was not as good as it could have been. I think that's I think that's the summary. Not as good as it could have been.
Jim's the outlier.
I think I'm the outlier.
I think he's the outlier. Yeah.
Well, you're the two ends of the extreme.
We're just glad
yeah.
you're here, Jim. That's all that really matters.
Kevin wouldn't even go to 6.5. He would. He was like,
he
"Oh,
wouldn't
6."
even
No.
do.
He's
What was
like,
Kevin's full of 5, right? Did you give it a
6.
5? Oh, you
6.
gave it a 6. Okay.
It has a 7.8 IMDb.
It
so
is, yeah,
It's it's about average for that show. So what's next, Jody?
Well, that's a very good question. I totally forgot what it was. So give me 1 second.
It might the 6th episode of the first season might be called Krill.
I think it is Krill. Yeah. Which is Ed and
this is
Gordon
where-
are sent to an undercover mission to infiltrate the Krill ship and obtain a copy of their Bible, because the Krill's Bible is basically how they run their entire organization, I guess. So they.
I remember liking this.
Understand. It was well, when you have those two feeding off of each other, it's usually pretty funny.
Even just this makeup, like in the episode. Like, can
Oh,
we
you
just
got a
like have a
screenshot?
little preview that they're going to be in, because it's
That's pretty awesome.
like this Krill makeup is
And I like how the men have the claw for their thing.
yeah,
and
they
the
have
women
like
don't.
this chin that comes out with horns,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it's got this whole extra layer. But yeah, like Seth
Again,
MacFarlane,
makeup is not something they spare on in the show. Like they do a great job on that.
yeah, but it's like to have like a point, like your main character in this look for the whole episode is it. You get used to it actually, but
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is that screenshot, that's Mercer in the middle.
yeah,
And then
I think Malloy is on the
Malloy is on the other side. Yeah. So but anyway, yeah, either way, it's going to be I think it's a better episode than this one. Not that this was terrible, as I said, but it is what it is. But there's a lot of good dialogue in the next episode, from what I remember. A lot of good back and forths and stuff. And the whole premise of them going onto an enemy vessel to get a book to understand the alien just is a little more far-fetched than we would normally get from a Star Trek type episode. So
They gotta get the book.
they gotta just get the book to figure it out, you know. So
Right.
but you know what, Dave? We have other things that we figure out here on this channel, of which you yourself do a lot of producing of.
We do.
We do. Like, for instance, tomorrow, I believe you have something coming up.
Tomorrow, yes, we do. Star Trek: The Next Generation.
What episode?
We are doing the episode. It's called. It's a great one. It's a classic.
That's a stall tactic right there.
No,
He's like, I don't
no, I'm
remember
just
which one it
building
is.
suspense. It's called
Oh, I've-
Lonely Among Us.
Lonely Among Us.
It's the 7th episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation's first season.
That is the
And-
one where the alien delegates, right?
Something I don't remember this. I still haven't watched it yet. But Marco Limo's in it. You know, Ducat.
Yeah, Ducat's in it.
So I don't know what that's about. And I don't really remember it, but I remember there's this blue lightning electrocuting people, and I don't know. So
That sounds fun.
yeah, I think Adam's on tomorrow with us. He's supposed
Oh.
to be, and Murphy. And actually, we're looking for another panelist if anybody's free. I'm still,
I don't think I can do it tomorrow. But
yeah. Well, you're missing a classic one, a great one.
sure am. I don't
Yeah.
even know which one I'm signed up for next, quite honestly. But
I have to look.
yeah, we'll figure that out. Well, anybody got any final thoughts before we wrap up this jar of pickles, so to speak?
Yeah, like check out on not just Tuesday, but
Oh.
Thursday as well,
Oh.
Jody.
Oh,
We
what's
are
happening?
back. Star Trek Prodigy is
Oh,
back
Yes, I forgot that's coming
today, and I haven't seen it yet, and can't get it in Canada apparently, or something. I don't know. There might be some difficulties,
You can
but
get it in Canada, but you might have to go to a different source.
yeah, exactly.
Wink,
but we
wink.
won't. Wink, wink,
Yeah.
nudge, nudge. But Thursday I'll be on with Davin and Jessica talking
Oh.
about the first 5 episodes of this new season that
Oh,
have
cool.
dropped.
You're doing
So
all
we'll
of them
do-
in one shot.
So we're gonna do them in batches because all 20 episodes technically are coming out at once. So
Oh,
we're
okay,
just gonna
but you're gonna cover 5 in one episode, like one podcast.
we're gonna do we decided
Oh,
we were
okay.
just gonna we'll do 5 episodes. And
Well,
then
they're
the
only
rest
22-minute episodes, right? Or something
yeah,
like that.
exactly. Instead of trying to do 20 weeks consecutively.
Yeah. Has anybody picked that up yet? Or is it still in?
It's on Netflix in the States. That's where it's coming
So
out.
is Netflix going to do another season? Do you know, or
We don't know. It doesn't seem good
Not
at
there
this
yet?
point.
doesn't
Doesn't
seem
seem-
good? Uh-oh.
Doesn't seem
Well,
likely
I've
at
heard
this
such
point.
high praise for that show, but I've never watched it. But
It's good. I like it, but it's but to be fair, a lot of the people who are Star Trek fans haven't watched it, including people on this network, and so the fact that it hasn't succeeded
probably
is not-
Kevin.
is not necessarily all that surprising. It hasn't found like its own a different audience or something, or a whole new audience. It's just what I think it's trying to do.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Oh well.
So-
Well, what can you do? What else do we got down the
And
pipe? I think there's a debate. Debate
Friday,
coming too.
I'm debating
You
with
are,
Heather
yes.
and Dave Pugsley. Watch out.
Ooh, the Pugs is in.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And who's
we're
the
gonna-
host?
Davin's around. He'll be doing it.
Oh, Davin's the host. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
That should be
Davin's
fun.
coming in. He's going to be, Heather and Pugsley. So I'll be representing for the Reds, guys.
All right, you
I
Team
got-
Red.
For the command.
I think Kevin's blue, so we don't like him.
Kevin's a red.
No,
Is he
I'm
red as well? Oh,
Yeah, like you are,
nice.
Jody.
We're all red. There
Yeah,
you go.
Yeah.
All the cool people. All
except
right.
Adam.
Except Adam.
Yeah,
Adam. You know what? Adam might be dead to us right now because he didn't show up.
He didn't show up. Didn't tell
He
us he was
probably
coming.
told us that he wasn't, and we just forgot.
Let's say that. So
That's
okay, so
probably more likely.
all those podcasts coming up this week here on Live Long and Podcast, and you
Ooh.
can also check out the other great stuff we have on the United Federation of Podcasts.
Roll the
Trivial
promo.
Debate. Roll the promo. See you next time. I don't have a thing to say, but we'll see you next. We'll see you
neither.
next time.
But
Bye.
Good job hosting, Dave.
Bye.
Guest host.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with, hey, did you see this one? and movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.